Welcome to today's CT Style Express. I'm Natasha Lubchenko. The internet has changed the way many industries operate, including real estate. Here to explain how homes are being bought and sold for less commission is Kevin Rockoff, owner of Rockoff Realty. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us.
Natasha, nice to see you. Thanks again for inviting me on.
Of course. Well, tell us about, your business model, your financial model. It's pretty unique.
Indeed it is. So if you were going back to since 1950, if you wanted to sell your home, you had to physically go to a broker's office and say, look, I want to sell my home, because there was no internet. So the broker would say, well, do you want to do the 5% package or the 6% package? You agreed, and that broker would take your listing. There's no internet, so if you wanted to buy a home, you had to go to the broker's office, because there's no Zillow, there's nothing like that, because the broker had all the listings. So you needed a physical office to get the job done. The internet has completely changed how homes are bought and sold. 95% of people find their homes online. They don't go to brokers' offices anymore. And when you list a home, you physically have to go to that home to take a look at it, give you suggestions in terms of pre-listing value optimization, run some numbers and all these things. So sellers never go to I should say rarely go to a broker's office these days. So I realized about 5 years ago that you really don't need a brick and mortar office to deliver great listing services. So I started offering a 1% listing fee, figuring, okay, with no overhead, I can do it profitably, but save my customers at least 1.5%. versus traditional brokers who have been charging 2.5% or 3% for the same service for decades. So I started about 5 years ago. Just yesterday, I sold my two homes. When I say I have a team now. We have 7 agents, and my wife's also my partner in the business. We've sold 260 homes all across Connecticut with a 1% fee, and we do the same job, including professional photography, which is critical since everyone's shopping online. The signs and the lock boxes, the contract negotiations, soup to nuts.
And I mean, when you're talking about, 1% to 5 or 6%, it doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about $100,000 home or more, it makes a huge difference.
Well, take a $500,000 home, okay? Now, compare me 1% versus 2.5% or 3%, because the buying side broker is a different conversation to be had. It's a very different job. But on a $500,000 house, that 1.5% is $7,500, and you're getting the same service as you would from another broker.
And now I want to take a look at some of your recent sales that I'm sure you're very proud of. So talk to me about what you've been doing lately.
Proud of all my children.
So let's take a look here.
Here's just a home in Chester that we just sold, and we going quickly there, but here's one in East Lyme we sold for $735,000. So literally that 1% saved them close to $12,000. Just sold one in Glastonbury last week for $677,000. So you just multiply the sales price times 1.5%, and that's how much they save. And you can see the great photography.
Absolutely, and I mean, so they're getting everything in that 1% that they would get normally.
Correct. We just don't have an office that you just don't need anymore. We don't have offices all over the state because no one goes to them.
So
that's simple.
Have you found that people are pleasantly surprised that they're able to save so much like we saw in those photos?
Absolutely. But it's interesting to me to see how people look at me and say, whoa, what's wrong? There's something wrong here. It's really more of a testament to how effective the real estate industry has been over decades of saying, almost like there's a mandate, you're going to pay 5 or 6% to sell your home. Well, in fact, the law reads it's negotiable. So it's a lot of fun, but yes, you do get the varying degrees of skepticism versus...
Of course, and we're here to show them that it works.
Exactly, that's why I'm here.
And I do want to end on this note, do you have any tips for home buyers, sellers in this market? I know a lot of people are stressed out. It's an interesting market we're in.
Well, rates have doubled. The cost of money has doubled in 4 months. I mean, and that has a major impact upon buyers' ability to afford things. So you're seeing some dynamics in the marketplace based on that. So it's treacherous time. Really, that's a larger conversation. Depends on what your horizon is, where you're going, why you're selling. Should you buy or sell is really a different conversation.
But
when you're ready, I'm going to save you money.
Now tell us where people can find you, contact you, and get their house on the market.
Please go to Rockoff Realty, Rockoff. Well, there it is on the screen. You can see testimonials, see some of our current listings, and certainly contact me or one of my fine agents.
Awesome. Kevin Rockoff from Rockoff Realty. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks, Natasha.
All right, and again, you can learn more at rockoffrealty.com. I'm Natasha Lubchenko with today's CT Style Express. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.